I'm here with head coach of the Jamaica CARIFTA team, David Riley. I know it must not have been easiest CARIFTA in terms of a managerial aspect. Tell us about the experience.
I think I've been doing this for a while, so I was prepared for it. I know a lot of the kids personally, working with them for years, so there's a mutual respect. They understand how I operate, and I understand them on a personal level. I think those things were good precursors to a great relationship, working relationship with the athletes and the coaches. And I think it wasn't a daunting task at all, but we pretty much had a plan and we went out there and executed, and the results are here to show.
Well, obviously, but as it relates to the official aspect, I believe probably that would have been more difficult than even managing the athletes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the officials usually, I believe officials should act based on the rules and should be okay with the rules, and they pretty much should provide an environment for fair and free competition. And there were instances where we were unsure as to whether there was any fairness that was being applied there. And those things, as experienced coaches and officials on the team, are easy to spot those things. And of course, we would lodge quite a few protests. Some of which one or two were made public, but we were constantly in discussions with officials in terms of the manner in which they were conducting the events. And most of the times our queries were actually in the manner in which the event is conducted and not so much the results themselves. I don't think we contested any of the results. We pretty much were contesting the manner in which the event was being conducted. And so, that's unfortunate. It's usually not had that kind of experience contesting the same thing so many times, and it's unfortunate. But it's the only bad part of the whole meet. The other aspects was great. The atmosphere in the stadium was great. The support was great. The Jamaicans on the ground in the Bahamas were great. I mean, they really turned out for us and went overboard in terms of assisting the team and so on. And I think it's a good experience. It's not quite like what I'd expected.
The miscues with the officials, do you believe it was of malicious intent or just incompetence?
No, I think it was primarily because there's a gap in terms of the knowledge of what is supposed to happen. I think too that they were unwilling to listen to reason from persons who clearly would have had some experience. A lot of ATOs, very technical officials, and ITOs, international technical officers, officials who were there with a lot of experience to help the officiating, and I don't think that they were really listening to those persons, and that could possibly be part of the reason why there were so many issues.
Right, we spoke to Clive and he seems pretty upset about what happened in the long jump. Explain to us what really happened.
Well, a long jump, the long jump requires them to measure from the nearest point, the nearest impression made by the athletes in the pit. And the athlete has all rights to inspect where they're putting the stylus in the pit, as well as what measurement is being read. At the highest level, the athlete doesn't really pay attention to what is being read because of the equipment that is being used. And sometimes you have an independent person there in an ATO or an ITO who will read the tape on behalf of the athletes. So you have two different persons keeping a log as to the distances. I think some of that was missing. They were using a steel tape in a long jump, so they were making more impressions in the pit than other impressions that are what the athlete made, and they were objecting to the athlete viewing what they were doing, which is ridiculous. I mean, I've never seen that happen before. I think that just reflected that they weren't very familiar with the rules of the competition, nor were they interested in the fair conducting of the competition, and that was unfortunate.
Is it the most difficult? You have been to many events. Is it the most difficult on a managerial standpoint?
It's the most draining in the sense that, as I said, we were constantly contesting things, and became a distraction to the real mission. Maybe some people will read it as malicious, I don't know. But maybe the frequency with which was happening, I don't know. I mean, they put on a mark in the discus, they put on a mark for the record for the under 20 boys. Frederick Bakers made a throw that went over the record, but then the measurement was less than the record, you know? You wonder, did they put down the wrong mark for the record, or did they really take it wrong? You don't know, and then of course you can't go back and ask for it to be remeasured because they can't find the spot. So, you know, those things like that.
You know, did it affect the psyche of the team in any way?
It did. I mean, it helped us to be a little stronger, but it's unfair to the athlete who threw a record and doesn't have a record, you know? It's just you leave the meet winning a gold medal, but you're not happy because you feel like you're cheating. And that's not what the competition is about. The competition is about people going out there in their best shape, competing, and walk away, win, lose or draw. They feel like they did their best. But when you start thinking that, you know, some officials, you know, gave you, it's
tell us about the 400 after winning the protest. I understand that it did some, you know, some theatrics on the track.
Yeah, it was such a stressful moment for the team. The time was a national junior record and a CARIFTA record. We had so many difficulties putting that relay together because O'Hara was sick and was unable to participate. We knew the Trinidadians came with a strong team to win. And while we're not interested in winning all the events, we know that they really prize that one. We want to beat them at it. And then for this disqualification to just come, you know, just like unexpected, it provided a moment of stress for the team. But with the experience that existed among coaches and management staff, it was not a problem procedurally to go through and lodge our protest and write a protest that subsequently was led to an overturning decision.
So it was a celebration basically?
It was pure celebration.
How many hundreds they ran?
They ran maybe at 150, I don't know. It was funny, and it was the kind of moment you celebrate. It was a real triumph of what is correct. I mean, there was no infraction whatsoever. And for whatever reason might have motivated that track umpire to have made that assessment, we don't know. But, you know, good sense prevailed.
The team's performance now, are you totally pleased with it? 69 medals, top in the table again.
Well, it's really 75 medals. I mean, you can't, the official table will say something different because there are rules governing what is considered the official tally versus the overall tally. So it's really 75 medals that we collected. We have to appreciate the performance and be thankful for the performance. And I wouldn't say we're disappointed about it. Considering all the different things that we had to endure, it was a strong performance. And then we look at how the other teams performed. It's strong performance. We had more gold medals than the second place had total medals. So, you know, it reflects Jamaica's position in the Caribbean in terms of track and field, and we can't complain.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.